When I was 10 years old, my grandma had a little condo in Kapaa right along the coconut coast, and going to stay with her felt like stepping into a completely different world. She passed away when I was 12, but I kept going back anyway because by then, Kauai wasn't just her place anymore. It was mine too. These days, my mom lives on Kauai, so my trips out there look nothing like a first-time visitor's. I'm not scrambling to see everything in a week. I'm just going home for a little while. But every time I talk to someone planning their first Kauai trip, I have to remind myself that most people don't get that luxury. They get one shot to get the days right. And that's what I want to help with today. Welcome back to Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I'm Marcie, and today I'm answering one of the questions I get asked constantly, right up there with the Maui version of the same conversation. How many days do you actually need on Kauai? So let's start with what's going on with the island right now, because the state just pulled out its May numbers and Kauai had a decent month. Visitor spending was up almost 10% from last May. Arrivals were up 8%. Nothing like Maui's month, but steady growth. What actually caught my eye was the average daily census on Kauai, which dropped. So fewer people were on the island on any given day, even though total spending went up. People are coming, they're spending more, and they're just not staying as long. That tracks with what I hear from consultation clients all the time. Kauai gets treated like an afterthought. Someone will block off 10 days for a Hawaii trip and give Kauai 3 of them because Oahu or Maui soaked up all the planning energy. And I get it. Kauai doesn't have the theme park buzz of Waikiki or the resort density of Wailea. It's quieter, but that's exactly why it needs more time, not less. Okay, confession time. Decades ago, back when I was still pretty new to Kauai myself, I used to tell people they needed 2 full weeks there. Beach days, pool days, a handful of hikes, some cultural stuff, plenty of time to just wander with no plan at all. And for certain kind of travelers, sure, that's still the dream. But 2 weeks off work isn't realistic for most families I talk to anymore. And if I'm being real, people's attention spans have shrunk too. Everyone wants a cute acai bowl for the photo. Everyone wants 10 stops in a single day. And sometimes people just want enough of a hike to get the shot before they're done with it. I got into that travel shift more in episode 104 about slowing down instead of chasing every photo op, and it really changed how I plan trips for people now. So here's where I land these days. Kauai is your only stop, you're going to want 7 to 10 days. Splitting time with another island, 5 to 7. If you're truly tight on time, 3 or 4 days can still work, you just pick one region and let the rest go. The reason Kauai eats up more time than most people expect is that it kind of behaves like 4 different islands stitched together. There's the North Shore around Hanalei and the start of the Pali coast, the west side with Waimea Canyon and Koke'e State Park, the South Shore around Poipu, and the east side around Kapaa and Lihue, which is where everyone lands. Just driving between the North Shore and the west side can eat up most of a day once you count the stops. So trying to squeeze all 4 regions into 3 days basically means you're spending more time in the car than anywhere else. So, how would I actually use those days? With 3 or 4, pick one home base, probably the east side or south shore since they're central to everything. Spend 1 full day up on the North Shore, having lunch in Hanalei, seeing Kilauea Lighthouse and Limahuli Garden, if you can swing the timing. Sunset at Hanalei Bay before you head back. Spend another full day out west. Leave earlier than feels necessary because Waimea Canyon looks its best before the afternoon clouds roll in. Add Koke'e State Park for a short hike or lunch at Koke'e Lodge. I did a whole episode on that West Side Day, episode 98, including a slightly embarrassing story about driving up there in the fog so thick I couldn't see the canyon I'd just driven 45 minutes to look at. If you've been putting that drive off because of the construction, there's good news. The main lookout is fully reopened now, safety upgrades and all. 3 days is really those 2 days plus a beach day, and that's a real trip, not a rushed one. If you've got a 4th day, use it for one bigger thing, like a Nepali coast boat tour, a helicopter ride, or just an unstructured beach and pool day. With 5 to 7 days, you get to split your stay, maybe a few nights in Poipu and a few up in Princeville or Hanalei, so you actually feel both sides of the island instead of driving through one just to reach the other. Your North Shore and West Side days look pretty much like what I described. Work in an East Side day somewhere, kayaking or biking the Kauai Coastal Path, lunch in Kapaa, a shave ice stop, and if you're switching hotels partway through, don't book anything big that day. Just settle in and hit the pool. Whatever's left is for a luau, going back to whatever beach you loved most, or that snorkel tour you didn't have room for earlier. And if you land on 6 or 7 days, leave at least one of them completely open. And I know that sounds backwards when you're trying to plan efficiently, but it's usually the day people end up remembering the most. 7 to 10 days, you stop needing to optimize every single day. Everything I just described still applies, but you're only spreading it out further with breathing room between the bigger activities instead of stacking them back to back. You're going to want to leave morning free for pool, go back to a beach you already loved instead of finding a new one. That 5 to 7 day range is where most of my multi-generational clients land, and I think that's a good example of how this plays out in real life. I had a consultation a while back with grandparents traveling with their adult kids and grandkids, all under 7 years old, staying in Poipu for 7 days. It was their second Kauai trip, so they didn't need to redo the canyon lookout points they'd already hit the first time, which actually made the planning easier, not harder. We set aside 1 day that was adult only. The grandparents and the parents hired a sitter and hiked to Waipo'o Falls, which gets you inside Waimea Canyon instead of just pulling out at another overlook, without eating the whole day the way a full canyon hike or helicopter tour would. They paired that with a surf lesson and a nice dinner out that day. No kids menu involved. The rest of the week was beach and pool time mixed with things everyone did together, and because nothing repeated their first trip, everything still felt fresh. That's kind of the whole answer if you're wondering whether Kauai deserves real days on your itinerary or just a quick stop squeezed between islands. I got into that question more in episode 105 on why I don't think the most first-time visitors need to island hop at all unless they've actually got 10 or more days total. Kauai in particular loses a lot when it only gets 3 days sandwiched between 2 other islands. And if food planning is what's stressing you out at this point, I put together a whole episode on where I eat on Kauai, episode 102, organized by meal instead of just another generic best of list. So if you only remember one thing from all of this, only stop on Kauai, 7 to 10 days. Splitting your trip, 5 to 7. Short on time, 3 or 4 is fine, just don't try to see the whole island in that window. If you're staring down a Kauai itinerary right now trying to figure out how to fit everything into the days you've got, that's exactly what I help with in a consultation. We hop on a call, talk through what you actually want out of the trip, and I'll tell you straight up what fits and what doesn't for your time frame. You can book one at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Travel Consultant. And if your Kauai days are already planned and you just want a second set of eyes on it, my $50 itinerary audit is perfect for that. I'll flag anything that's going to eat up more time than you think, or any reservation like Ha'ena State Park that you might be missing before it sells out. That's at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Itinerary Review. And like I always say, anytime I mention a guidebook, an email course, an affiliate link, or any other resource on the show, you can find my full list of my favorites, the stuff I actually trust, at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Resources. All right, that's it for this episode. However many days you end up with on Kauai, I hope this made it a little easier to plan them. And if you want the bigger framework for figuring out trip length no matter which island you're headed to, go back and listen to episode 50, 5 days versus 7 versus 10. Talk soon. Aloha.